Arab
funded by who?
monarchies,
Funded by who? Hamas?
like by Qatar and Saudi Arabia and by very wealthy Gulf dictatorships. But I just hold on. You're trying to say that Hamas was not investigated for what happened on October 7th?
Hamas is not being investigated by the ICJ of doing a genocide. Yes, that is correct.
Have you watched the videos?
I have watched the videos.
And
Yeah,
what
that
do
is
you-
correct. I feel like
you
it's-
saw
I-
the-
I
did
think-
you-
I
did you
think
see the
Hamas-
one
I
where
think-
the-
So the student is very, very passionate about this topic.
Hey, what's up, Chart? I was gonna ask you, you think that Israel should displace the Palestinians from Palestine to Egypt and Jordan?
It's a tough question. I will say this, guys. I'm happy to do the whole afternoon on Israel, but let's try to get it.
I'm actually pretty excited about this topic. I don't know basically anything about the Israel, anything in Muslim rule, and that's what they're debating. If Israel can live under Muslim rule. I don't know anything about that, so I'm excited to get into it. Let's go.
Other questions, but
That's what I'm. That's
I'm
what
not
here.
blaming you. I'm
Oh,
just
okay.
to the audience.
Yeah.
It's a difficult question. I don't
Sure.
know what the solution is. I don't.
So you think it's right for them to ethnically
I'm not saying it's
cleanse
right.
them?
I'm saying the solution is very difficult because the people of Gaza have shown that they are incapable of self-government.
Sure.
Incapable. That
Yeah.
when they are given self-government, it becomes a terrorist hotbed, and it becomes a nightmare for the Jewish people, and war ensues. So I don't know what the...
Right, but my question here is, do you think it's ethnic cleansing to forcibly tell them to get out of Gaza?
Again, I'm not even saying I
Because
support it.
this is what Trump said.
I know what Trump said. I'm not even saying that I think that's a good idea. I do want someone to tell...
Okay, so now I have a little more clarity. I was wondering why they were debating this. Apparently, Donald Trump said something regarding Gaza, and I'm assuming that's... I know nothing about this. Donald Trump said something regarding Gaza, and the student is upset that Trump said it. Now he's asking Charlie Kirk because Charlie Kirk supports Donald Trump. Now I get it. At least what they're debating over.
Tell me what the solution is, though. Because that's an idea.
Yes, Egypt actually offered the solution, but Trump actually was against it.
What would you say the solution is?
The solution is to have an Arab state to govern them, basically, and for Hamas not to be in control. That's all I'm saying.
Right. So we had something close to that, though, for years, where Gaza was controlled by Hamas. Gaza democratically elected Hamas.
In 2006, that's correct.
Yeah,
but they
and-
weren't able to democratically elect again after 2006.
Yeah,
That's correct.
Because the people liked it.
It's not because people liked it. It's because they didn't have any other choice but to
We
do
don't
that.
know. You might be right. I might be right. I
Okay.
think I'm right. Let me tell you why.
Okay, why?
Because when the terrorists went and killed a bunch of Jews on October 7th,
Yes, I know that a lot of people were happy to see.
lot.
Yes,
Tens
and
of
why? Why
thousands.
is that? Why is that? Because it didn't start on October 7th. It didn't start on October 7th.
yeah, but this is where we're going to disagree.
Okay.
So I look at things in the term of right and wrong,
Sure.
and just and unjust, not oppressor or oppressed. A different worldview that could be on the left, not saying you are, would say, hey, the people of Gaza.
Yeah, I voted for Trump, by the way.
No, I'm not saying that. For sure, great. We just might not agree on this issue. The people of Gaza, some people would say, hey, it's been a bubbling up problem. We're going to justify what's happening on October 7th. We look at that and we say it's never acceptable to go and kidnap and to go cut throats, unprovoked, unprompted.
Sure,
on a holy
it's
day.
against international law, and
Yeah.
I believe that Israel as well, like where they did a lot of things that were against international law as well.
Well, I don't
if-
quite know what that would mean, but yeah, I mean,
War crimes,
such as
mass people.
Yeah, man, it's just, again, I don't want to keep going in circles, but it's like, I can't see a single instance of Israel going out of its way to kill civilians.
You don't see it in a single instance of what?
Israel going out of its way to kill civilians. I see Israel going out of its way.
So you don't believe what they've done is genocide?
No, of course not. Because, all right, let's get our terms. Let's just go, what is genocide?
A genocide basically mass a certain group because of their ethnicity, race, or culture or religion.
So was October 7th a genocide?
It wasn't a genocide, no.
By your own
Well,
definition,
yeah, let me tell you why. Because the ICJ now is investigating Israel. They're not investigating Hamas for genocide, if you know that.
Who?
The ICJ?
Yeah, the ICJ is anti-Israel, has been for a while.
Oh, okay, yeah, sure they are. Why do you say that?
Well, because they're funded largely by Arab
They're funded by who?
monarchies.
Funded by who? Hamas?
like by Qatar and Saudi Arabia and by very wealthy Gulf dictatorships. But I just hold on. You're trying to say that Hamas was not investigated for what happened on October 7th?
Hamas is not being investigated by the ICJ of doing a genocide. Yes, that is correct.
Have you watched the videos?
I have watched the videos.
And
Yeah,
what
that
do
is
you,
correct. I feel like
you
it's-
saw the,
I-
did
I
you
think- I
did you
think
see the
Hamas-
one
I
where
think
the
Hamas-
So the student is very, very passionate about this topic. From what I'm seeing, I don't think Charlie Kirk is that passionate about this. But the student seems to be, and I think it's on the basis of something that Donald Trump could have said. Don't really know completely. I will say this, I'm not really getting much clarity on this topic so far from the student. I was trying to follow, see where he's coming from. But I'm still just as confused as I was 5 minutes ago. I'm not really sure what his point is so far, but let's continue.
How is it not a
Terrorist
war crime then?
I think Hamas is a terrorist group. I really think they are. But that doesn't justify what Israel has done so far. That's all I'm saying.
Well, again, there's two separate things, but everything Israel did was
As of what October 7th, you believe that the Mossad, for example, is one of the biggest agencies in the world. It might be even better than the CIA, right?
Yes and no. I don't think they're nearly as effective as people think they are, and I can prove it to you. But
let me just prove my point, please. So what I'm trying to say here is that basically the Mossad knew about the attack from Hamas because they only had like Chinese bicycles, bikes and stuff like that to go in. So what I think is that basically the Mossad they knew about this attack because Hamas basically is Israel's biggest asset. If Hamas wasn't there, they would have not killed anybody. So I think
I just want to make sure I understand your argument. There's one part of the argument is asking, did Israel know? And was there a stand down order? I asked that question, never gotten an answer. You're going a step further.
We don't have proof.
And
that they knew.
hypothesizing that the Mossad, which is their CIA, wanted it to happen.
Yes.
Okay, I think that's insane.
Why do you think it's insane?
So you think that Mossad, which are Jews, wanted 1,300 Jews to die?
They didn't know that 1,300 people would die, but they wanted to see something so that they can be able to actually attack Palestine.
Got it. So we're just not going to agree because you have a much lower view of Jewish people than I do.
No, I believe in Israel's right to exist too.
No, I know, but what you're saying is that the Jewish leadership of Mossad wanted the Hamas to attack.
Yes, because what I'm trying to tell you is that they had homemade drones too. Hamas had homemade drones that they use. Okay, so how are they not able to see all of that happening? Is all I'm trying to say.
Well, I mean, first of all, part of it is a legitimate question, but getting to as far as saying that must be the case, it's a big leap. It was a holy day.
Sure.
Right, which is very important. It was Shabbat,
Sure.
which is, 90% of IDF troops aren't there. But let me just kind of close on a moral question. Point, then a question. Number one, Hamas did not go after military targets.
Yes,
They
did
went
go
after civilian targets.
That's correct.
Inexcusable. Number two, though.
That's what they were able.
So I'm assuming the student is for Hamas. He's for Hamas. And what Charlie Kirk just said is that Hamas went after civilian targets. And the student said that was correct. I think they're arguing the morality of Israel in some sense. What do y'all think about this?
Let me ask you a question. Who do you think there's a good guy or a bad guy in the equation of Israel versus Hamas?
As of who?
I'm asking, which one do you think is good, bad, better, or worse?
I think Hamas is bad. I think what the Israel government is doing is bad as well. That's why we don't have an
Got
agreement.
it. So let me
That's why we
ask
don't
you
have
just a
Go ahead.
hypothetical, and I don't mean to be interruptive.
Sure.
What should Israel have done in response to 1,300 people in the most horrendous way?
To target Hamas members in a better way, to not mass
What is a
kill
better
people.
way? Explain what that looks
Well,
like.
there's a reason why they have special forces. There was a reason why they have the
they used
best
them.
military. There's a reason
They
why they
used
have the
them.
best military equipment in the world so that they'll be able to target Hamas members.
Yeah, but they did all of that, and so I never get a concrete answer. So what I just want is I'm not going to defend everything that every IDF soldier ever did, but I find it so interesting that everything that Israel does gets so hyper-examined through this lens that no other country ever gets held to the standard of, ever.
Nobody does anything like Israel. With Palestine, yeah.
You believe that no other country does what Israel does?
With Palestine, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Who else? Tell me.
You think that I want you to just pause. You think that from the African civil wars?
Has anybody done anything worse to the Palestinians more than Israel?
Yeah, a lot of people have actually. like
Okay,
the
like
internment
what?
camps throughout China for the Uyghur Muslims, or the North Korean open-air concentration camps.
Well, basically,
Or-
they didn't commit genocide.
It's,
They didn't want ethnic
But
cleansing.
let me just close with this.
Right.
And this is not your. What's your name?
Yusuf.
Yusuf. This is not your fault, but it is an intentional provocation, and I find it to be repulsive. Not you, but generally, the overuse of the word genocide. Because when you keep on using genocide, you're basically trying to cheapen actual genocides that have happened the last 100 years.
Why would I have to cheapen it? I still believe that there are other genocides that happen too.
So you think
so you think if I say
but,
that it's a genocide,
I just want to make sure I understand this. You think that Israel's intentionally trying to kill as many people of Gaza as possible?
Yes.
Well, they're not doing a great job of it because the population keeps on going up.
Well, yeah, they.
There's a lot of talk about what's happening.
Okay, so I'll say this. I don't know a lot about this topic, and I'm not going to speak on it confidently or speak on it definitively. But I will say the student is very passionate about this, and he seems like he wants to go into some type of debate with Charlie Kirk on this. Here's what I'll give. If you're going to challenge someone in a debate, or you have, I guess, more liberal or even more conservative views, and you want to challenge someone on the opposite opposing side, at least have your facts ready. I sat here and watched minutes of it. I didn't pause while you were speaking, or I tried not to. And I tried to hear you out to get a side of it, but it doesn't seem like you even know the side yourself. Charlie Kirk brought up the word genocide a lot. And I don't know all the details about that, but I will say this. If you're making a really bold claim, you should be able to 100% defend that claim. That's all I'm going to say. Not saying the student is right or wrong. I don't know. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of this video. It's LFR JoJo, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.